I'm going to start by explaining some of the basic setups that we have for each of the iPads. The first thing is on the screen you can see at the very bottom there's some of the apps that are available. We set up each of those, that's called the dock bar at the very bottom. So we set up those so that you should have the App Store, the iPad info in case you ever need to call the help desk. That way you can quickly access your iPad info. The camera, so you can quickly access the camera. Safari, that way you can quickly access the internet. And then you have settings and self-service. Now, out of all of those that are on the dock bar, the district would prefer that the settings and self-service stay in the bottom right in case they ever need to help you with anything. So some of the other things that we have set up on here is your Apple ID. You can access that and see which Apple ID is signed into the iPad by clicking on settings. And then once you're in settings, you'll be able to click on iTunes and App Stores. And that'll show you, you can see up in the top right that this iPad is signed in with penipads+1@gmail.com. You can also see that underneath automatic downloads it says that the apps is on, music is off, which that's what we want. We want the apps to stay on. The reason being is that each of your grade level team, those iPads that are with your grade level will each be signed into the same exact Apple ID. And if you have automatic downloads set up for apps, that'll make it so that if one of your teachers installs an app on one iPad, they don't actually have to go to each and every iPad to install the same app. As long as automatic downloads is set up, if you install the app on one iPad, it'll automatically push it out to each of the iPads that are signed in with that same Apple ID. The only thing is you have to make sure that each of those automatic downloads stays set to on. Now, talking about apps, we have that App Store icon in the bottom left of your dock. You can go to the App Store to find apps that you would like to download. With the downloads, right here I'm just on some of the featured apps. You can see it scrolling through some of the featured apps. Any paid app, you're going to have to go through the district to purchase those. Any free app you can actually download. So for example, if I clicked on this Nimble Quest app, I'm going to click on that free button, and then it'll say install app. Now you can see that I have a screen that pops up automatically saying that you need the password. This would be your the specific password that we're going to use in order for you to install any of the apps that you want to put on the iPad. So if you would enter the password and click OK, it would go ahead and install that app for you. So if you don't like the featured apps, you can actually click in the top right where you have the search bar. And it says search store, and you can type in a specific app that you're looking for. You can see here I actually installed Google Earth on this iPad. You can see that instead of free or giving a price, it says that you got the option to open it. If you want to delete apps, you'll be able to, the one thing you'll have to do first is you'll have to go back into settings. Underneath general, you'll have to find the restrictions, and underneath restrictions, just for this one, you'll have to use the passcode that we have set up. For this one, I changed it to just 1111 so that we could go through and show you some of these. You can see here one of the restrictions that I have set up, and that all of these iPads will have set up, is the deleting apps is turned off. Now the reason it's turned off is so that students don't have the ability to go in and delete any apps that they want. That'll make it so that hopefully your iPads will all stay the same and that students won't be deleting apps and then you having to reinstall them. So just for this demonstration, if you have apps that you've tried out and you don't like and you want to delete them, you're going to have to go and make it so that it says on for deleting apps. Then you can go back to your screen and find the app that you want to get rid of. If you press and hold on the app, eventually it'll shake and you can see all of them are jiggling. Any of the apps that are moving back and forth, you can actually press and hold and move them around on your screen to different spots. If you stack them on top of each other and let go, you can actually make folders. But if I want to delete an app, I'm going to click that X and it'll pop up and say delete, and if you click delete, you're good to go. Now to get them to stop shaking, if you press the home button, that'll stop them from shaking. Now the one thing you'll have to remember to do is go back into your settings and make sure that you set delete apps to off. That way students don't have access to deleting those apps. So again, that was general, restrictions, use the passcode we have set up, not 111, change deleting apps to off, and then you're back to the normal settings that we have set up for the restrictions. Another thing that we have in place is in the settings again. Underneath general, we have multitasking gestures set to off. If you turn it on, all that's going to let you do is you can actually use your hand. I'm using all my fingers and swiping straight up, which allows me to see which apps I have running in the background. It also, for example, if I'm in the App Store, if I take 4 fingers and swipe side to side, it'll change between apps. So the reason that we set this to off is that way students don't accidentally change from app to app. A couple last things that we've set up on these is the keyboard shortcuts. If you go into general and you scroll down to where it says keyboard, you can see here we have auto correction set to off, and we have the shortcut for the period off. So some of the things is if you're double tapping the space, it'll automatically put a period in. So by having this set to off where it says the period shortcut, that makes it so that you can't double tap and create a period just by double tapping the space. Also the auto correction we set to off, that way especially with some of the younger kids that don't know how to spell the words that exactly how they should be spelled, some of the times the iPad will try to auto correct them, and then they'll get really frustrated by trying to spell the words. So auto correct should stay off. So that's some of the basics of what we set up for restrictions and how you can install apps and delete apps, as well as just kind of some of the basics for how to navigate and change some of the settings.